Welcome. Thank you so much for coming to the FIS 5th grade band concert. My name is Carissa Darling, and I am the band director for the beginning bands, 5, 6, and 7. And I really appreciate you being here and supporting these wonderful students that I have behind me. And don't they look so sharp in their band shirts? They are the first group to get them. We fundraised some money last year, and we took some of that. So it was a gift from myself and the older band members, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So they look so great. We're excited to have some awesome music for you this evening, so thank you. The kids have been doing so good in band. Band is like this new experience that they're not used to, and it takes a lot of coordination to be able to play your instrument. And they've really only had their instruments for about 9 weeks. I held them hostage until the end of September, and then I released them just so we could practice some other musical skills beforehand. So they've only had them for 9 weeks, and they've improved so much in such a little time. For this reason, I like to call this first performance not a performance, but is this microphone ringing, or is that just me? Is that? Okay, I can hear it, but I have band director ears, so you never know. So I don't like to call it a performance, I like to call it an informance. So I do this concert a little bit differently than I usually do my concerts. I actually program this from the very first song they learned on the very first day they put their instrument together, and progressively harder as the concert goes along. That way, the audience can see exactly how much progress was being made throughout the year. Well, enough talking, we're going to get this informance started. Here's our first piece that they ever played, titled Away We Go. Okay, I have a little secret. That's not really how they sound. Aren't you glad that you don't have to spend half an hour in that? I wanted you to be able to really understand in this performance how they sounded on that first day. When the clarinets put their reeds on backwards and the trumpets got their mouthpieces stuck and someone dropped something. And that's how they sounded. And I told them they sounded beautiful. But that's really how they sounded. So now you know. I even planted a squeaker in there. Clara Foss, raise your hand. She purposely squeaked every time. She doesn't sound like that. I told them, I said, do not tell your parents. It's going to be a surprise. So hopefully they did. Now we're going to let you listen to how they really sound. The next one we're going to do is called Moving Around. And at this point, the band knows 3 notes. Doesn't that sound better? Yeah. There's nothing better than hearing the tapping of little feet on stage. That's so great. So I love that they do that. It takes a ton of coordination to learn how to play an instrument. Raise your hand if you were in band before. You guys are my favorite audience members, right there. Raise your hand if nobody in your family's been in band, but a child up here, they're the first in the family. Woohoo! That is so awesome. First generation band person. It takes so much coordination. They have to read the music. they have to make an instrument sound correctly. They have to move their fingers, arms, or hands to play the correct note, and that's really hard to do. So they're doing an excellent job. Our next thing that we're going to listen to is Haley Milgren has a flute solo. One person from every instrument. So we'll be going in order from highest to lowest. Flute all the way down to our low brass and then percussion. Our next piece is titled Half Note Rock, and this piece introduced faster notes that we call half notes. This piece will now combine everything we've learned so far in band. It also introduces accents, which means you play the notes with a little more emphasis or a little more oomph. To hit the percussion, you'll hear those accents. Solo by Alyssa Ike. El Camino Mariachi. The students in band started to learn about harmony, which is when you play two or more notes that are different, but you play them at the same time. It's also a duet, which up until now students have been playing in unison, which means they play the same thing together. Percussionists have now realized that the snares on the snare drum can be turned off, and they utilize that in this piece. Percussionists, they work really hard back there. They have this giant chart with all 20 songs that we're doing, and they have to jump from instrument to instrument. And when we first started this, it took them like 5 minutes to get to the next one, and now they're so fast. When I turn around, they're always ready. That's awesome. Our next piece is titled Cuckoo, and this piece introduces notes that are played as leaps instead of just in steps all the time. So that's a little bit trickier. And then we add the suspended cymbal and the percussion. Next we have an alto saxophone solo by Brianna Hoffman. Stones. This song introduces quarter notes and quarter rests, and so from this point on the songs get a little bit more interesting because we can play those faster rhythms. Our next piece is titled Rain, Rain. This is probably the first song that you will have recognized so far. It's a popular folk tune that I'm sure many of you have sung to children. It also introduces the triangle in the percussion section. Performed by Dane Wheeler. Next song is In a Minor Mood, and we learn our fourth note. So all these songs before have only been played with 3 notes, and the bass drum is also introduced in the percussion section. It's hot cross buttons, and this piece taught us our fifth note. That was always a crowd favorite. Our next performance is a trombone solo by Xander Bell. Our next piece is titled Go Tell on Brody. This is one of the trickiest songs that we have learned so far. It combines all that we have covered in band. Our next selection is titled Little Robin Redbreast, and this piece introduces solos, which means you're playing by yourself, tutti, which means you're playing with the group, and of course musical phrasing. And we do have a couple of soloists in this group. Jenny Paulson will be doing a clarinet solo, and Nathan Corrigan will do an alto saxophone solo. They did a really good job. We have a baritone solo next. In the program, it states that Mason Hartman is going to do it, but we have a little change, and Jackson Crosco will be playing the solo. It was so hard to pick solos, by the way, guys. Every time I asked, like, everybody's hand went up, so it's really awesome that they're willing to do that. Our next song is Merrily We Roll Along, and if you listen, it'll sound like another song that even the little ones will recognize. The repeat sign is introduced in the piece, and the students gain stamina because they have to repeat it a couple of times. Did you recognize it? Yeah, Mary had a little lamb. The next one is Itsy Bitsy Spider. This piece also features a repeat, and the percussionists also learned how to perform a multiple bounce roll on the snare, which can be a little tricky, and Noah Brunn is going to show you how to do that. Maybe. They're still right. There we go. There's a little bit of a vibration, and then they have to get it to bounce multiple times for that. So this will be Itsy Bitsy Spider. We just have a few pieces left for you. Our next piece is titled A La Rueda. And this song has solos where not the whole group plays, but a few people will play. For ours, we split it into types of instruments. So the woodwinds, which are the flutes, clarinets, and saxophones, will play the first time. And then the brass and the percussion, brass would be trumpets, trombones, baritones, and the percussion, they'll play the second time. We have another duet for you, and it also has a repeat again. This is titled Love Somebody. And the music really builds upon itself, so the students are still practicing their skills they learned on the first day, and they still learn new skills. So that's a really cool thing that music does. So here's Love Somebody. this class, and it features a soloist from each instrument group. So if you are that soloist, why don't you guys come on down? This is the one solo I required them to memorize, but they're doing a great job. The soloists we have up here, starting at the flute and working our way down, are Colton S., Marcella R.G., AJ.A., Lainey G., Lacey P., Darren B., Porter L., and Noah B. I can tell you what, when I was in 5th grade, there's no way that I would do that. They are super brave, and I think they deserve another round of applause. We have one last piece for you, then there's going to be a few announcements at the end on where to pick up your child and things like that. This piece is titled Serenity, and it introduces slurring. So up until now, they're tonguing each individual note, and they must move their fingers now while still playing the instrument, but only tongue the first note. So it's a real coordination thing, and it's a little tricky, but they're doing a nice job. The only instrument other than percussion that does not slur are trombones.